I'm Jess. Welcome to the Rochester Press Box from McGregor's.
The Rochester Press Box is brought to you by McGregor's Grill and Tap Room, now with 6 locations, including the newest at East and Alexander, featuring in-house catering for parties. McGregor's, a beer lover's paradise. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rochester Press Box here from McGregor's downtown, East Alexander. Bill Pucko with you, along with John DiTullio, WHTK Sports Director.
Thank you, Bill.
Mike Catalana, 13 WHAM News Sports
Good to
Director.
be back.
And Josh Whetzel for the last, this will be your 11th season. This is
will be number
play-by-play
11.
man for the Rochester Red Wings. And before we get started, let me just say, I've known them all since 1980. They've never had a guy better. You do a great job
Bill.
there, Josh.
You're the best host of this show.
And that goes without argument.
What about Mike and myself?
Yeah,
how
do we
show
do?
us any love?
Well, you know, you
But
do
I
the best
concur.
3 to 6 o'clock local sports talk show. And
I will
well, Mike,
Josh's money on the air.
Look, let's talk a little baseball. We're 2 weeks from the start of spring, and actually, as we record the show, exactly a month away from the Red Wings home opener, and everyone's talking about the World Baseball Classic, Josh. So
Everyone is?
everyone, it's the buzz. How can we get more invested into this thing, or should we?
I don't know. I think the timing of it is so tough in baseball because they're trying it during spring training. Guys are trying to get ready for the season. A lot of different organizations aren't fully invested in it as some others are, and so I don't know what the answer is. It'd be great to play it after the season if they could, but guys are worn down by the end of the year. I just don't know if there's a very good solution for it.
I know one guy who's not thrilled with it. Seems to be Cole Hamels. He went against the Dominican team.
Yeah.
They shelled him for like 12 runs. But his point was these guys are like a lot of them are in like regular season mode, you know, because they want to really win that. I think it's a bigger thing for the other countries. I don't think anybody here cares all that much. I think the players use it a little bit. I don't think it's
I'll
a
play the
huge deal.
snooty card. We have the best league in the world. Our best players aren't even playing. Even some of the other, Elmer Pools isn't playing. Some of the best players in the game aren't playing this. I agree with Josh. Either you play it in November or don't play it at all. They're trying to squeeze it in from March 2nd to March 19th? And if I am a GM, I'm not encouraging one of my players, I'm sorry, a pitcher, to go in there and start throwing X amount of innings in a meaningless World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, and yet the 2 big injuries, especially that the Yankees had this year, Granderson and now Teixeira recently, those things both happened outside of the World Baseball Classic. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know
I think
that
there's
they overplay
just
that card a little bit.
A little bit. I think there's a difference, though, if a guy is hurt playing for his team. Now, not playing for his country, because a lot of people accept that when it's something like the Olympics that they really get into. World Baseball Classic, I don't know.
And if you could play it without pitchers, you'd be fine. It's the pitchers you have to worry
T-ball,
about.
are you looking
yeah,
at? Maybe?
Maybe that's it. That's the solution.
The World Cup
Coach
is
pitch.
great and the Ryder Cup is great. The
Right.
WBC could just go away as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's just funny, I thought, because when the United States started, to lose those things, that's when they became interesting. We lose this, no one really, it doesn't matter to anybody.
No.
There's really nothing
What
we
is
can
this,
do,
the
I guess.
third World Baseball Classic?
This is the third.
It's the third one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant it was a third world baseball class.
Well, it kind of is.
No, that's always soccer.
Yeah.
It does that third world stuff.
All righty, when we come back, it's never too soon to start talking about the draft and looking ahead to what the Buffalo Bills might be next year. We'll do that next.
Hi, I'm Kaylee, and you're watching the Rochester Press Box from McGregor's.
Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box here from McGregor's downtown, East and Alexander, in the Annex, the new extension of the building. We welcome you to certainly come down here and watch our taping 12:30 every Wednesday afternoon. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I mean, by the time this thing airs, Mike, on Sunday, he might be an ex-Buffalo Bill. What changed in the last 3 weeks as far as this guy's concerned?
Well, NFL teams love deadlines. They use deadlines. They'll take it right to the limit. I think Doug Marrone looked initially and said, I don't have to do anything now. Let me look at tape. Let me also look at the college guys. Is there somebody I'm comfortable with? They bring Tavares Jackson back so they have a veteran, and they're looking. They obviously have pinpointed somebody in this draft that they like, or maybe even 2 guys. I don't think there's no doubt in my mind now Fitz is gone. They're going to cut him. They've waited this long, but they will do it before the deadline. They're not paying him the $3 million, and I don't even think they're trying to redo the deal. I think they just looked at it. They're comfortable enough with somebody in that draft that they're going to get, and they're going to cut him loose.
Any smart economist will tell you, don't give a guy a $3.5 million roster bonus for a guy who's not even going to be your starting quarterback. I can't imagine the Bills and Buddy Nix and Doug Williams are going to hand over a check next week and say you're our guy when in fact he won't be their guy. Take the cap hit, bite the bullet now. He's part of the problem, not part of the solution anymore.
You mentioned Marone had been studying this thing. Do you think the more he looked at film and tape and the like, the less he liked Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, I would say so. And again, the more he may be comfortable with going with one of the guys in the draft. Plus, there are other guys out there. You know, I mean, a name that's popped up a little bit with the Bills is Matt Moore, who was with the Dolphins. I tell you, today, I'll take Matt Moore over Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Sure.
I think he has a little more ability. He's got a better arm. He's been a decent leader. I'm not saying he's great. I'm saying you need a placeholder or you need a guy to be the backup. There are guys out there, or even Tavares Jackson, I think, that can do as good a job. But to John's point, he's part of the past. He's part of the failure. I think you got to cut him loose.
Alex Smith isn't an option, I guess, now, right?
Yeah.
And isn't it amazing how it used to be rookie quarterbacks never played at all, and now it seems like rookie quarterbacks, the good ones, get to play right away.
It was interesting with Mike Florio this week. Pro Football Talk says the reason the Chiefs gave up so much is the fact the Bills were jacking the price up. They got involved in the Alex Smith talks, so the Chiefs gave up 2 second-round picks, which I thought was interesting.
Went to the Combine, and apparently, Geno Smith is the leading candidate in all the mock drafts to go to Buffalo in that first round.
Boy, I just don't like Geno Smith. I mean, we saw him play in the snow in the Pinstripe Bowl.
I like him.
You like him.
I love Geno Smith.
Don't know about him playing in Buffalo. That's what worries me a little bit. The guy I like out of all of them, and I don't think the Bills are even on him, is E.J. Manuel out of Florida State. I think he's got big upside. I think he's a leader. I think he's an athlete. I think he fits. He's a strong kid. I think he fits what you're looking for in the NFL, but I think they're more interested in the Tyler Wilson of Arkansas than they are in E.J. Manuel.
Is baseball ever going to reclaim March? Do you remember the hot stove league and the baseball and spring training and all the rest of the stuff? And we're talking a lot of football still.
I would love it, but it seems like football now is a 12-month-a-year deal. I mean, ESPN covers football like crazy January 1 to December 31st, so I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon.
Football could mess it up, though. They're talking about pushing the draft back a little bit, and I think fans will even get a little annoyed if you talk about the draft back in May or June, and they're trying to buy those months, too, and they think they can carry it all the way from January. I think that's even a bit much, even for football fans.
Somewhere along the line, they will make a mistake. They're not perfect. They must, right?
Oh, they make mistakes, but they have enough to buy their way out of it, either financially or just with the love that fans have, that even when they make mistakes, it still works for them.
Yeah. Like it or not, when we return.
Hi, I'm Alexa. You're watching the Rochester Press Box from McGregor's.
This portion of the Rochester Press Box is brought to you by Sticky Lips Barbecue, featuring the All-American Menu and the Atomic Bomb Challenge. Sticky Lips on Culver Road across from East High and the Juke Joint on Jefferson. Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box, everyone. This portion, the Like It or Not portion of the Press Box, brought to you by Sticky Lips Barbecue, your banquet and fundraising headquarters. Like it or not, Josh, the Red Wings in 2013.
First of all, I like Sticky Lips a lot. I was just there a couple of days ago.
Thank you for that.
Red Wings 2013, I like a lot. I think it's tough to tell. It obviously depends a lot on what happens with the Twins in the major leagues. But the Twins minor league system is on the upswing again. There are going to be some prospects, especially in the outfield. I like it.
I've been watching Aaron Hicks for years. Are we going to see him, or is he going to make the big game?
He's playing very well in spring training. There's a chance he could be the opening day center fielder for the Twins, which personally I think would be a mistake on their part. I hope he's in Rochester at least the first couple of months.
So the idea that Minnesota might be the worst team in the American League is impacting negatively what we have here in Rochester.
The only way it would impact negatively, I think, is if they're making a lot of changes trying to see what fits up there. Otherwise, there's a lot of talent right now in the system, again, like there was the first year of the Red Wings Twins era. That should be good news.
Home opener a month away, guys.
I can't wait. I need some warm weather. More importantly, I need some baseball. Cranky with this weather.
Well, I was just trying to think, too, if we have an idea of what type of team we're going to see this year. Fans like to see a little bit of power. I know that's been a issue in the past. You got any idea yet?
I think the pitching potentially is going to be strong, which obviously is good news. Pitching will not be a strength for the Twins, but I think it could be here in Rochester. The outfield could be very good if Hicks is here, Joe Benson. They hope to have a bounce-back season. Oswaldo Arcia is a big-time prospect that probably will be here. So I think the outfield and the pitching are probably going to be the two strengths.
Did the manager get a bad deal not getting that promotion?
I don't know about that. I think Gene was happy to come back here for another year. He felt like he had unfinished business after finishing at 500 last season. The other two coaches obviously got promoted to the Twins staff, but I don't think Gene's that upset that he's back.
I like him. He did a great job. I'm glad he's coming back. Like it or not, how about the penalty handed out to Coletta this week?
It was a stupid
5-game
penalty.
suspension.
5 games. I thought it was going to be more, actually. I mean, considering his past, considering that the risk that he put Brad Richards in. By the way, the Rangers are on a power play. It was just a stupid, dumb play on the part of Coletta, who, let's face it, this year he's behaved himself for the most part. He's great on the penalty kill. I think listen, if you're a Sabre fan, you love him on your team. If any other team hates Patrick Coletta. But his penalty cost him the game. And to come in that period with the Rangers on the power play, 2-man advantage, they break the game wide open. I only thought that later in the period, that Girardi's penalty should have been a 5-minute major on the hit on Tyler Rennes.
The one thing I've heard fans and people who maybe don't follow hockey as much say, well, it didn't look that bad. I've seen a lot worse. I would make the comparison to low bridging a guy on a layup in basketball or a dunk in basketball. You can hit a guy a lot harder. It's not a big deal.
Yep.
Everybody knows when that guy's in the air, you just move under him a little bit. It's very dangerous. Short. Same thing with that. It wasn't that big of a shove, but it's when he did it and where he did it that the league's trying to eliminate.
And why it's dumb, if anything, it was a cross-check. So it's still 2 minutes regardless.
Right.
But now he gets to 5 minutes in the game misconduct because of what he did.
You know, the thing that bothers me, and I always thought hockey's a brotherhood, you know, that there's a lot of respect between NHL players that's different than any other sport. And it sees something like this, and it's like, come on, guys. It's one
and
of your own.
he absolutely knew what was going to happen there. They know it. I mean, they know what happens because it could happen to them. I think it was bad.
Is there any brotherhood in any sports? Baseball guys throwing at players?
But
football players try to annihilate one another?
Right.
I think that brotherhood stuff's overrated.
I just always thought hockey just is a different feel to me. Like it or not, to like her or not. How about Brittany Griner and what she's doing in women's college basketball?
I will tell you this, and I heard this the other day, and I kind of laughed at first, and then I thought, she's arguably the most recognizable individual player in college basketball, male or female. I'm not kidding you. And you tell me, you put her picture up, the average basketball fan, even if they don't pay attention to women's basketball as much, who's the guy that you think of as the guy in college basketball? Oladipo, maybe?
That's a good point. If I asked my wife who Brittany Griner, she could probably have an idea.
You see her. She's established herself as the player in her sport. I mean, she scored 50 points and she can dominate. She plays tough. The only thing about her is a little double standard because a 2 years or a year ago when she had the punch? Was that
a couple of years ago? She was a sophomore, I think, or a
that's
freshman.
the kind of punch that if a guy does it, I think maybe he's out for the whole year. I think that was bad. I mean, she showed a little, but she plays tough. She plays hard. She's a dominant player.
Is she the most dominant? We've seen a lot of female basketball players. Shamika Holzclaw, Cheryl Swoops. This may be the best girl we've ever seen play college basketball.
Can she make a difference? Is there something long-term in her presence that can...
I think she's a draw because of her size and her ability to dunk the ball, and it might help a little bit. Though I will say this, she could give Jim Boeheim about 8-10 minutes a game underneath. At least they'd have an offensive presence in the low post.
She's just so much different from any other women's player ever.
Yeah, exactly.
At 6'8", she can jump. There's never been anybody like her, not even close.
It's funny you mentioned the punch, and ordinarily that kind of thing is a career definer. I don't
think it. Yeah, and I think it adds a little element of it's not nice girls playing. I mean, she's out there to win. She's tough. I don't agree with the punch, but I don't think it hurt her in the long term.
All righty. When we come back, we have some unfinished business.
Hi, I'm Haley, and you're watching the Rochester Press Box from McGregor's.
Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box here from McGregor's downtown. Time for a little unfinished business. We start with John.
Yeah, I'm a big fan and always have been of storming the court in college basketball. I think it's part of the pageantry. It's, for the students who are there, if your team upsets a top-ranked team or a big rival, what's wrong with storming the court? I can always remember the first time I saw it. Notre Dame, UCLA, 1974. Notre Dame kids stormed the court. They beat UCLA's 88-game winning streak. Now, I will agree with Mike Krzyzewski on this, that people storming the court at times. Maybe if you are a top-ranked team, or put it this way, you got to beat a top-ranked team. Kids just love storming the court just for the sake they're storming the court. I can only hope the ACC doesn't adopt what the SEC does. They fine students, they fine schools if you storm the court. It's part of the game. And the last time I checked, nobody's ever been hurt or assaulted storming the court, at least so far. Now, Mike Krzyzewski's upset because no other team has been stormed more than Duke over the years. I think 27 times over the last, I think in 5 years, they've been stormed against because they're an elite program.
That's if you don't include that kid that was in the wheelchair.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
earlier this
Hey, he
year?
wanted it, by the way. He
And
said, I got
picked
no
up.
problem.
Yeah.
I
You
just
could
hope
do
they
like
don't do
Williams
it.
in North Carolina and just leave your 5 walk-ons on the court, get your scholarship guys
Get 'em
off
off
the
there.
court, and let them get
Beef
fed to
up
the Lions.
security, but I just think it's part of the game, and it's been part of the game for as long as I can remember.
I think what's really interesting is that ESPN is like trying to legislate it. Now, these are the rules. You have to be the top 5 team. It has to be here and there. And they've got it framed
Yeah,
so that
ESPN, the people that talk about overreacting to anything.
And I respect
That's what that network is built on.
Krzyzewski, and I see his points, the security, whatever, but I just hope they don't do away with it.
All righty, Josh?
Well, I'm a baseball guy, but a few days ago I got a chance to see a high school basketball game here locally for the first time in a long time. And it just reminded me of the fun it was going to high school games back where I grew up in Kansas, where basketball was a big, big thing. I hadn't been to a high school basketball game in years, and it was great to see the competition out on the floor between 2 terrific high school teams and the passion in the stands with the students and the parents. It was great, and I encourage people to get out there and watch more of the local high school athletes who really do a great job working so hard day in and day out to do their best. And for a lot of these kids, for most of these kids, high school sports is where it's all going to end. So it was fun to watch that game the other night. A little bit heartbreaking, though, to see some of those guys' high school careers come to an end.
Yeah.
Which games did you see?
I saw Webster Schrader and Webster Thomas, which went right down to the final play.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, but he's not used to, because he's used to the peach baskets out in Kansas. He saw the real rims.
That's right.
So it was a little bit
You don't want to
confusing.
do that. This is sort of the best basketball that we see at the high school level here, upstate New York. How's it compared to like a hotbed in Kansas where, high school basketball is really big, I'm guessing? Is it comparable at all?
You know what was similar? What was similar to me was that the stands were packed, and where I come, I'm from a little town where every town has one high school, and everybody comes out to the games on Tuesdays and Fridays. The stands were packed for that game. It really reminded me a lot of one of the games back home.
Jadeveon Clowney is a guy in the news a lot. He's the South Carolina guy that ESPN keeps showing the replay of him crushing the backfield because he's just a freak athletically. And the big controversy has been this guy's not allowed to come out for the NFL draft because the NFL doesn't allow you until your junior year. What this shows me is while people are talking about should Clowney even play or not, should he sit out the year, protect his draft status, what it really shows me is the hypocrisy of the rule for basketball. I still don't understand how they can do this. I think the one and done rule in college basketball has ruined both college basketball and hurt the NBA both. I don't understand how you can force the one and done rule in one league, make it 3 and done in college football. Look, set up the rule. You're 18 years old. If you can do it and want to do it, you should be able to do it. And if you fail at it, tough on you and it doesn't work out, you don't get a chance to go to college. Clowney should be able to go to the NFL because at his age and at his experience in college basketball, he'd be able to go to the NBA. It doesn't make any sense. I think the kid's going to play. I hope he has insurance. I hope he doesn't get hurt. But it's hypocrisy in both football and basketball. If you're 18 and you're coming out and somebody wants to pay you, you should be able to go. I think it hurts both. It hurts college basketball more than it does college football because college football's got their free minor leagues.
And I
for
think
the
that's
NFL.
why the college football's exploded.
Yeah.
The last 15 to 20 years is what Mike just said. 3 years, you get to know the players. You get great powerhouse teams like Alabama. Year in and year, they're going to be good. They're good all the time because those players aren't going anywhere.
That is the most important issue that's out there right now, certainly as far as basketball is
Yep.
concerned. I think college basketball right now is lousy.
It's terrible.
Because
It's at
of
its
the rule.
all-time worst. The NBA people will tell you the draft is going to be arguably the worst in the history of the NBA, the modern NBA, looking at the players coming out. I think they need to change it. Let them come right out of high school to the NBA if they want, or commit to a certain amount of time if you're going to go to college. It's a joke now. And Clowney, by the way, is going to be a great player, but I think he still needs to play football for the year. I think it's tough to sit out the whole year.
How can you ask the kid to sit out? He's going to play. I hope he plays.
The thing I don't think we think a lot about is how it affects the basketball coaches. Guys like Boeheim and especially like Calipari, they've got to go out and they've got to recruit so much more than they used to because when they sign a guy, they don't get him for 3-4 years anymore. They get him for 1.
That's right. They get those big checks from Nike. They're doing all right.
I think it's, but I know that.
It is
but I
different.
think they just
It's
get
different.
killed out there.
It is, and it makes it a year-round thing where they're constantly recruiting. But if there's one group in the world I'm not feeling sorry for, it's college basketball coaches. They make the money. They can jump from team to team.
Yeah.
I think they're fine.
Cool. Josh, thanks very much for coming by.
Thanks for having me,
You're going to
guys.
spring training, right?
Yeah, I'll be down there in late March. Can't wait.
Alrighty, enjoy it. Mike, as always, John, thanks very much.
Got it,
Thank
Billy.
you for watching. Again, you can stop down to McGregor's here downtown, East Alexander, and watch the recording of the show. It's at 12:30 every Wednesday. And of course, we air Sunday at 11 o'clock immediately following the Vision High School Sports Meet. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.